Welcome back to this YouTube channel. I'm called Caster Dev, and in today's video we are going to look at the random code generator. As you can see, I'm having the app displayed and it's rendering like the new quotes after every second. And what we are going to do is we are going to design this exactly, and let us start straight away. And here I'm having a new app, and let us create the index.html, and we are going to call this, we are going to rename this to random quote generator. And here we are going to come up with the h2, where we are going to name it random quote generator. So by this we can go live, and as you see, it's here. So what we are going to do next is we are going to create our CSS, and we are going to say style.css, and here we shall have this, and we shall say padding 0, margin 0, and box sizing border box. So by this we shall also come up with a body, and we shall say min height 100 view h, and we shall say background color or background, and we shall say light. This one is this one, and when we save, before we have to link our CSS just like that, and as you see, everything is working. So don't forget to link your CSS. So you can say display flex, align items center, justify content center, and we have that. So the next thing we are going to do is we are going to create this div where we have our quote and the author. So when we come here, we shall say div, and we shall have the big tag with, it will have the volume of something like 12, and also have the span. The span will be the author John Doe, and we forgot something. We forgot the flex direction, and this are two column, and by that you can have some gap also of 1 rem, just 1 rem, and also here. So what we are going to do next is we are going to name this to quote container, simple as that, and we are going to name this to quote, and we are going to name this the author. So these are class names. You can also use the IDs, author, as simple as this. So you can come here and you say h2, we are going to just give the color just down here, and it will be white smoke, and we are going to come up with a quote container. Don't forget to bring the dot, it represents the class. Quote is this, the spelling, quote container, and to be very accurate with this, you can just come here and you copy this, just not to make mistakes, and just paste it here, and you can say bg to be white smoke, and as you see it's there. So you can give some padding. It will be 3 rem on top and bottom, and it will be 4 rem left and right, as you see. So we can also come up with a random. It will be the border radius. It will be something like 8 pixels. So as you see, so with this we can also give the display flex, the align items center, flex direction to column, and a gap of something like 2 rem. Yeah, we can come up with a font weight of 700, as simple as that. So after this we are going to come up with the buttons, and we shall also give them their color pod container, and just down here you can say the div, and in this div you can call it just like this. And we also have the buttons. So as you can see, I'm having some nice shortcuts which you can use not to waste a lot of time. And just by this we shall call this one the next, like it's going to the next. And with this one, the next one, this one, you're going to get it from the what? From the box icons, and you can just enlarge this and we say box icons. So box icons, this is the copy, it's here. So when you just click on it, they'll bring this, and you click on the font. So just by that we'll minimize this, so you can come and you paste it inside here, and it will not work by just this. So you come here and you come on the usage. So you can use the box icons in very many ways. You can use the npm if you're using node packages. You can also use the link which we are going to use, and you just copy this and you have to paste it in your in your header. Just by this, if you paste it in your head, everything will be working. And as you can see, it's here, so we can close this. So after that we're going to give these ones the class. So we shall give this one the next btn, and this one we shall name it the copy btn. So what we are going to do is we are going to come here and we style them. So just by this we are going to say btns. So this is the main container, btns. The div shall say display flex, shall give them some gap of something like 3 rem. Yeah, I think that is okay. So we shall call the button. So when you call the single button, you are designing both of them. So if we give them some styles, so if we say like bg and we say black, so you can see they're having that bg. So if you come and say color and it's white smoke, you see something like that. So we shall give them some padding, and we shall say 0.5 rem and something like 2 rem. Yeah, I think that is nice. Border radius, so we have to make them rounded, so not too much, something like 5 pixels. And also we shall remove this border none. And the next thing you are going to do is you are going to do what? We are going to add the cursor pointer, cursor to pointer, as simple as that. So when you hover, you see we are having some nice stuff. So as you can see in this, when you click on the copy you're having a code, and by that we are going to first design that before we run into JavaScript. So we are going to come up with a copy, and we shall just bring up here, we shall say a b tag, we shall give it a class of message, and here we shall give the quote, and by this message we shall just copy it, and when you say dot message, so we shall give it the bg of white small, and we shall give it some padding, like padding of top and bottom 0.5 rem, just like that. It's looking nice. We are having what, the border radius, something like 5 pixels also. As you can see, everything is okay. So what we want is we want to give it like the position. As you can see this one very well, when we click, like we click the copy, it brings the quote where we want it. So by this we shall just give this one the position of absolute, and we shall give the main container where it is located, like in the body. So we shall give this one the position of what, relative. Remember, when you're working with the position, you have to give the container where it's located the position of relative, and itself the position of any you want, either fixed, either absolute, or sticky. So by that you're seeing it here, and we are going to just give it something like right. So if you give it right, it will be something like 10% right here. That is okay. And if I give something like bottom 5%, will it work? Yeah, it will work. So let me give it top. As you see, it's okay there. So if someone has clicked here, the code will just come up and it's there. So what we are going to do is we are going to add in another class which we shall toggle the show message, and this one, if we say that this one to be there, we are going to just say the right of 10%. So if we say the right of -100%, it disappears, and when we say right of 10%, it will come back. So just by that we are good to go, and now UI is done. So let us just go to JavaScript to add in these functionalities. We are going to fetch this from an API, the random port from an API, then we shall add in these functionalities. So we can come here and we add in the app.js, and we can first check whether it's working. We can have an alert working, and just by that I'm going to link our JavaScript before script source, and it will be the app.js, and you see it's working. So the next thing we are going to do is we are going to do what? We are going to first call our API. So our API is found here. We have something like API quotable_quotes.io, and if we have that, as you can see, it generates randomly. When we refresh, you see we refresh again. Henry Ford, the author. Quality means doing it right when no one is looking. So when we refresh, you see our distrust is very expensive. So with this we can copy this and we go back to our app, so we can minimize it back, and we can say const API will equal to call our bracket So by this we are having it, and what we are going to do next is we are going to call a function, and this function is we are going to call it generate quote. And this function will take in the API. So, and here we are going to use the try catch block, and remember we have to use the async, and what we are going to do is we are going to say const response will equal to await, and of course await we're going to fetch, and we shall fetch the API. So by this we shall say const data will equal to await response dot await response dot JSON and this we are having the data. So when we say console.log data, expect to see the data. So let us just go to the console and we refresh. We on the right one. Let's refresh. Where is our data? Where is the data? So it's we have to call the generate quote before we pass in the API. So by this I think we shall have our data. Yeah, here's our data. So the next thing we are going to do is we want to just insert in. So if we get the quote, just by getting the quote, and we say const the quote element or equal to document dot query selector, and we shall pass in this the quote. So with this I think we are having the what, and here what we are going to do next, I think we shall comment this out, and we shall say const quote will equal to data dot. So one thing, if we are dealing with APIs and related stuff, one thing you have to do, you have to read the data very well. So here we are seeing we are having an object, and in an object we are having the ID, the content, the author. But for our case we only need two things, the content and the author. And in our app we have named the content the quote. So if we say data.content, I expect us to have the what, the quote, the data from the what, from the API. So what we can do is we can also say const author equal to data dot author. So you have to be very careful not to write your own things. And what you are going to do, so if we have said, let's go back here, we can close out this. So if we have said that we have got the content, so one thing we can do is we can come here and we say console.log. So we have to see, have we got the quote, and we can also add the author such that we can see very well everything. So when we go to the console, you see some people make as many mistakes as weak people, and the author is Richard Nedam. So I think we can minimize this, and the next thing we are going to do is we are going to render these two code. And what we shall do is we shall, let us first do what, also get the author, and we just render them at once. So if I say const author element equal to document dot query selector, and what I'll do is I'll pass in the what this, and just by this I'll come down here and I say quote element dot text content will equal to quote, and just by that you see we lost because we told ourselves we lost. And if we also add in the author, because it's not John Doe, and as you see it's already changing just by the refresh. So if I say author element and I say dot text content and I add in the author, so just by that you see Francis Bissell's. So we are going to add in the next functionality, and it will be, we want our quote like to change in just after some minutes. And what we are going to do is we are going to first close this out, and we shall also close this very well. So what we are going to do is we're going to say set, we are going to say set interval, and the set interval will take in the interval, and I'll give it something like, so I'll say generate quote, and don't forget to pass in our endpoint. So just by that you see that it will be changing like randomly after this period we have inserted in. And the next thing we shall do, as you see it's changing, and the next thing we shall do what? We shall add in the next functionality, and I'll come down here and I'll say, let me first get this button. So the next button on click, what I want is when I click I want it to do what? To go to the next what? So this is too much, I can increase a bit to something like this. So when I say const next btn will equal to document dot query selector, and I'll pass in this. So just by this we are having the next button, and what we shall do is we shall say next btn dot add the event listener, and the event listener will take in the click, and the next thing which will happen after the click, and that will be a function which we are going to add in here, and this function will be the next port. We shall name it next port. So just by this, if I remove this and I say if we click, just generate the what? The quote. And don't forget to pass in this. So if I just come here and I click, as you see it's changing. If I click, it's changing, and that is nice. So the next thing we are going to add in is our last functionality, and that is the copy. And with the copy, what we want when someone clicks on the copy to copy the code and to give us a message straight away. So let us come down here and we bring the copy btn, and when we say like const copy btn will equal to document dot query selector, and we shall have it down here. So by this we shall say like copy btn dot add the event listener, and remember the event listener will take in the click and what will happen after the click. So if we come and we call this function, we are going to name the function copy function, and we can remove this as well. So what we want is when someone clicks this function to what to happen. So we shall say const copy, like we want this the copy quote, can name it like that, will equal to quote, like remember the other quote element, so we want something from there, quote element dot text what, text content. So what we are trying to mean here, that let the copy quote equal to the what, to the text content in the quote element we had made before, and by that we shall come the navigator. If we have the navigator dot clipboard dot write what, it will write the text which is in the what, in the copy quote, and that we pass in the what, the copy what, the copy quote. And by this we have to get the what, the promises, and if we say dot, then what will happen after, and that what will happen is the result. So in the result, what we want is, we want to show what, the other message. So by that we can come here down and we see, we just call this function, call this function, this show message function. So that is what we want to happen on the then. So show message, the function. So the next thing we want here is to catch the what, the error, and by that we can come up here with the error. So and we shall console log the error. So the error, and just by that the copy is working. And what we want is, when you click here, so when you come here and you paste, you see, let me enlarge this, you see, don't ruin the present with the what. So if I come back here and I click the next button, you see each misfortune you encounter will carry in the what, in the 6. So when you copy this, sorry, it has changed, there is no charm equal to tenderness of the heart. If I come here and I paste it like we have copied, and it's there. Just by that, if we click next, you see I copy. When I paste here, you see. So the next thing we are going to do is, we want to show like the message after we have clicked here, and this is the function we have just created here. What will happen when we have just clicked here? So to do that, we are going to get the what, we are going to get the message like here. So if I call this message just like this, sorry, just like this, I'll say const like message will equal to document dot query selector. So I just pass in here. So in our function, when we say, like, if someone has clicked, this function will run, and I'll say message is it that one, message dot class list, sorry, class list dot add. So we shall add in the other class we had created earlier, this one, the show message. So you just copy it like this and you paste it here, just by that. So when I click, why is it not coming? Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I'll firstly, like, I can add the transition to see very well. Transition, it will be all, and I want it to be like 0.0, it will be 0.6 like seconds, and like is as simple as that. So what I want is, I want, when I click, I want a message to show after the click. So here what I have is, we have like our what, our message, and when we add, like when we click on the what, on the copy, we want the message to show. So what we are going to do is, we're going to come down here and we set out the what. So I'll give it something like something like that. And what I want is the message dot class list dot remove. It will remove this what, this show message. So if I just come here and I add it very well, also here, and I save. So our function is show message, and it's here. So I think everything is okay. So when I come here and I copy, it's not coming, and I copy, it's not coming. So what I'll do is const message equal to, did we give it very well here? Yeah, it's the message, and here it's the what, the function show message, function show message dot class list dot add show message. So if I come here, this is the right 10, and if I come here, I'll just do what, I'll just click okay. Let me first remove this function to see. So if I say function, let me remove it like completely, and if I say, I'm going to name this show message, and I'll remove this. So if I call this function show message, it's the same here. If I click here to take me just here, so if I call this message dot class list dot add, if I add this, I want to add this class, the show message, just like this. So let me try by clicking. So as you can see, it's there. And what I want is, I want to set the timeout, set timeout. I'll give it something like so I want the message to do what, to be removed, dot remove, and this will be the show message. Copy, then you paste. So let me just enlarge this. So if I copy, you see the message and it goes away. So just by that, our app is done. So thank you guys, and I'm going to link my GitHub in the description, such that you can get the full access to the code. Goodbye.